Welcome to class, International Security and Peace class. Today I want to talk about ethnic conflict. So we had talked about war and terrorism, and we talked about genocide. And today I want to talk about ethnic conflict. But you should actually notice that uh, some conflict, some conflict can be ethnic conflict or genocide, or some conflict can be mass killing at the same time ethnic conflict, or terrorism or ethnic conflict. So some events or incidents can be categorized more than one, right? So like like Rwanda incidents. So Rwanda's conflict can be genocide, but at the same time ethnic conflict because it's conflict between two different ethnicity. So we will talk about ethnic conflict. So we have to understand what's the ethnic conflict. So I was born as a Korean, right? So my ethnicity is a Korean, and then students from different. I mean, we have a lot of students who are from different countries, but country and ethnicity is different, right? So some people uh, from the U.S., but their ethnicity can be black or African, like African Americans, and their ethnicity is not like white. It's different. So it's actually we can't change. That's the thing about ethnicity. So we can change the language, we can change religion, we can change our nationality. So, so I can be I can be American citizen, but I cannot change my ethnicity. So it's actually from ancient groups. That's the major difference between the what we have learned. So we talked about war, and then war is between states, right? Among states, and states we can change our nationality, state. But ethnicity we can't change. We can't do anything about it. So ancient groups such as Hebrews by Babylon, and it's Korean, so Babylon, and Egyptians. No, I'm not saying like Babylonians. Is not Korean. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. So I'm saying in Korean it's Babylon. In English, Babylonians. So and Egyptians were significant political actors. So it's from ancient times. So it's not. But the thing is, things become more complicated. Things modernized. And ethnic conflict is also very complicated at the same time. So most ethnic conflicts are peaceful, but political issues arise when linguistic and religious group mixed. So it this means is this. So some countries, so like China has composed of very different kinds of ethnicity. I heard it's more than 90 ethnicity. So there are Koreans, as you know, and there is like Han ethnicity. Han ethnicity is major ethnicity, and then there are Turkish people there, and there is conflict. I mean, but there are different kinds of ethnic group, but not all ethnic groups has a problem, right? So most of there are some problems, but they are well managed. But when there is like language problems or religious problems, things mixed, then there is ethnic conflict. but not always is true. So, like for instance, Soviet Union, there are more than 120 ethnic groups, but there is no violence clash during its collapse, right? So there is peaceful conflict. So some ethnic conflicts can be peaceful, but not always there is conflict arise. So these are three main issues, major ethnic conflicts. The Rwanda genocide. So we already have learned last time. So Rwanda genocide is the it's formal and most acknowledged genocide in the world, and it occurred in 1994. So Hutu majority and Tutsi minority conflict. So Hutu majority killed a lot of Tutsi, right? Its deep ethnic tensions escalated into a genocide where Hutu-led government um, orchestrated the killing of approximately 800,000 Tutsi and moderate Hutu within 100 days. So we call this is genocide. We can categorize as genocide. And this ethnic group were very peaceful, but uh, because of colonization, it has a problem occurred after that. Hutu were majority and Tutsi were minority, but when the colonizing country came to this area, and they gave a power to Tutsi, so that's why there was a problem between the two, right? So ethnic conflict, so if it actually shows that within Rwanda there were a lot of different kinds of groups. And there was no conflict whatsoever between the two groups, but suddenly this new path came, right? And then the conflict arise. So I mean, right now many Koreans believe that, I mean, Korean, we have a majority is Han, also different from Chinese Han, but Korean Han, we have a Korean ethnicity Han. But these days we have a lot of multinational culture, right? And there are a lot of mixed families. So like, for instance, my sister got married to American, and then her daughter is half Korean and half American. And if she grow up, then maybe there can be ethnic conflict if there is new event or new political events came, right? So we never know when and what will happen if the country is multicultural, or that means like people use different language or different religions. So Koreans were heavily divided into in terms of religion. So we have like Christianity and Buddhism. We have um, Catholic. So we never know. I mean, there was some clash because of religion. So it is true that if language and religion is mixed, so we have a kind of civil clash between Buddhism versus Christianity. So we didn't kill anyone yet, but there is highly likely that things will happen. And partition of India. So this is actually Hindus versus Muslims. So India, there was a religious and ethnic division between Hindus and Muslims during the British India's independence, resulting in partition into India and Pakistan. So as you know, India is Hindus and Pakistan is Muslims. So there was a huge division, and because of this, so the countries even divided into two. So it's very natural. I mean, this case, I think I can say this is lucky, right? So if there is conflict, then maybe it is better to divide it into two different countries like this. So partition of India, it occurred in 1947. So, but the thing is, there was a sacrifice. There was huge victims, right? Approximately 1 or 2 million people were killed, and over 50 millions were displaced. So, not right now it's settled, right? So, because it occurred in 1947, but it could settle down like that because of this partition of India occurred in 1947. And there was a Bangladesh liberation war in 1971. So Bengalis in East Pakistan versus Pakistan government, so West Pakistan. So ethnic and linguistic discrimination against Bengalis lead to violent crackdown by the Pakistani military. So, Indian intervention resulted in Eastern Pakistan's independence as Bangladesh with over 300,000 deaths and millions of refugees. So this is also ethnic conflict. So I mean, I don't know, but we have like a lot of students from different countries, and then many students actually have experienced or that have histories that have ethnic conflict, right? So Uzbekistan, it became independent from Soviet Union, and then we can say, but it was peaceful than later than conflict, right? But there was an ethnic conflict between Uzbekistan versus Russia, Soviet Union. So luckily, it could be independent from Russia, Soviet Union, and then Bangladesh too. So Bangladesh also have this history, but Koreans, we do not have. I mean, we did not have a think. We didn't have a chance to think about this problem of ethnic conflict. And then we have a student from France and Germany, but at least France also has these ethnic problems, and Germany has a problem because of Turkish. But I mean, Turkish people thinks that I mean, there were a lot of Turkish people moved to Germany, so there are a lot of Turkish population there, and they think that they are discriminated against German citizens. So this also ethnic conflict. I mean, there was no killings yet. I mean, there was no killings, no wars between the two, but certainly there is conflict. So the government actually used a lot of policies to mitigate these policies and this ethnic conflict. But if government failed or this majority, like for instance, of partition of India, so there is a huge majority of Hindus and huge majority of Muslims, then the government cannot actually adjust this policy or adjust this or coordinate this conflict. Then there can be participations or a war like this. Then if there is no victims, then it might be okay, right? But if there is conflict like this, then there is always victims and a lot of deaths. So that's why, I mean, if it is peaceful, then we wouldn't study the security studies, but it's inside of our scope of study because there is sometimes war toward because of this ethnicity. So ethnicity is main cause of war, but usually, if as you can see, but Hutu and Tutsi issues is not religious issues, but a lot of ethnicity conflict is combined with religion. So Hindus, Muslims, like this. And then the Bangladesh Liberation War is not about religion, but it is about linguistic and ethnic discriminations. So this is ethnic conflict example. So, but as I mentioned, we can't change we cannot change the ethnicity, but the thing is we can change religion. So this is when we talk about ethnic only, when we talk about ethnicity only, it's really hard to uh, how can I say, we can, it's really hard to divide. That means like for instance Hindus, Muslims issues of partition of India. So I can change my religion as a Muslim. So I did, right? So I was Muslim, and then I'm Buddhist. So I can change my religion like this. But ethnicity you cannot change. But the thing is, it's weird that it's very rare if you're born as a Hindus or if you're born as a Muslim and then change your religion. So it's very actually rare. This, so the, this case, like the partition of India case, it's not about really about ethnicity only. It's also religion. So it is really tricky to study this area because there is not always about ethnicity. According to Anthony Smith, so what is ethnic conflict? So what is ethnicity? So he talked about these five different things: common name, a believed common descent, elements of shared culture, language or religion, and common historical memories, attachment to a particular territory. So this is if you have a commonality of this, so you can say you are belong to a certain ethnicity. So like I Koreans, I mean I can give this is the best example for me. So I can give you uh or Turkish example. So I will give you a Korean example. So I'm Han ethnicity. So many Koreans share with me as a Han ethnicity. But if your family is not completely Korean, so you either your father is not Korean, so we have a lot of uh, these days internationals, and they came and they changed their uh, nationality from their own country to or home country to Koreans. So they are Koreans, but they are not Han ethnicity. But I am different from them because of ethnicity. So common name is my ethnicity is Han, but their ethnicity must be something different. The believed common descent. So my descent, I don't know. I think I'm quite mixed. That I can tell because of my appearance. I felt like because I never heard. I mean, when I went abroad, people do not say, "Oh, are you Korean?" I do not hear that quite well. So I people ask like, "Are you from Kyrgyzstan, or like some stans?" A lot. So that means maybe my ancestor can be uh, different from other Han ethnicity. But as far as I know, my grandmothers are Korean. So like as a Korean, so we are neighbors, right? So common descent, elements of shared culture. So here's a tricky. So we use same language, Koreans, right? But in terms of religion, it's so different. Which one is stronger? I think that's the key. So is my religion more important than the we talk about so far? So ethnicity is more important, or believed common descent, or cultural language, or like as a Korean, so we share the culture, right? But if my religion is more important than others, then maybe there can be conflict. So if you read Huntington's Clash of Civilization, if within one country, if like there are different kinds of religions, there can be a clash between among different religions. So, for instance, like there can be maybe clash between the Buddhism versus Christianity. But things changed. But we had the kind of event. We had the kind of an event that like some people like attacked Buddhist temple because they think that this is not okay. Uh, like we had kind of event. Of course, like they're all illegal, but we had that kind of clash. So this actually shows that religion can be more important than other factors, and common historical memory. So, like for instance, the Koreans who didn't grow up in Korean territory, they wouldn't share the history with me. So there are, even though they are Koreans, they are different ethnicity. So they are different ethnic groups than I am, right? So an attachment to a particular territory. So I believe I can have very strong attachment to this Korean peninsula, right? But if you, I think my niece would be have different kinds of attachment toward Korean peninsula because she is mixed with Americans. So she has an American citizen. At the same time, she's a Korean citizen. I don't know which one she would